Good evening and welcome to the Town of Derry Planning Board meeting for March 6, 2024. We typically begin our meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance. If you would rise and join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a safety reminder, in the event of an emergency and an alarm activation, there is an emergency exit at the rear of the hall. There's also an emergency exit to my right, to your left. The elevator cannot operate during an alarm, and so if you need assistance, wait for first responders to come to your aid. If you have devices, please mute or silence them. We'd appreciate that. And I will go through the call to order. The Planning Board voluntarily continues to offer remote participation. If any member of the Planning Board participates remotely, vote shall be by roll call. You may attend the meeting using your computer or other capable device by going to www.zoom.us. The meeting ID is 754-633-912, or you may also call in by phone. One of those numbers that's available is 646-558-8656. Same meeting ID, 754-663-912. If you are joining by phone, the *6 signal will unmute you so you can speak once you've been recognized, and the *9 signal will raise your hand to be request to be recognized. At this point, I will introduce the staff and members who are present tonight. To my far right, Mr. Sioris, the Planning Director.
Good evening.
To his rear, Ms. Carvello, the Recording Secretary.
Good evening.
Mr. Chase, the Town Administrator's Representative.
Good evening.
Mr. Fishman.
Good evening.
Mr. Healy.
Good evening.
Mr. Grenice, who's the Town Council Liaison.
Good evening.
To my far left, Mr. Owen Preventure, who is our video wizard.
Good evening.
Town Engineer Mark LaRue.
Good evening.
Mr. Malaby.
Good evening.
Mr. Feinauer.
Good evening.
Secretary. Good evening. Mr. Myers. I am Dave Nelson, the Vice Chair, serving as Chair Pro Tem this evening, and our Chairman, John O'Connor, is attending remotely.
Good evening.
So the first item on our agenda is escrow, and I believe the escrow folder is empty tonight. So the next item is approval of minutes for February 21st, 2024. What's the pleasure of the board?
I make a motion to approve the minutes if there's no changes.
Second.
There's a motion by Grenice, second by Myers. Is there any discussion? If not, I'll poll the board. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Fishman, are you an alternate?
Yes.
Okay. Can we seat you for the empty seat of Mark Connors? Thank you for a reminder.
Thank you.
We had on the agenda a revote, but after discussion, we've actually handled that properly and got noticed by Londonderry as to their interest or non-interest, so that is fine. We don't need to actually do that. Do we have any planning director or chairman updates?
I have none, Mr. Chairman. The only plan you have for next Wednesday, 2 weeks from tonight, is Derry Plumbing and Heating will be coming in for their site plan at the corner of Birch Street and Eden Street and Kendall Pond Road, right on the corner across from the Rite Aid Pharmacy. So that's moving forward. That's all I have.
And I'll just remind any members of the board whose term is up that the council will be voting for those vacancies at their second meeting in March, and anyone who is interested in any of the vacant alternate positions, we encourage you to put in an application, which you may do via the town's website. All right, the first item on the agenda for public hearings Heather Michelle Davis and Michelle and Paul T. Carr, parcel ID 18001 and 18001-001, 112 and 110 North Shore Road, which is a two-lot subdivision and lot line adjustment. Will you introduce it for us, Mr.
Yep,
Zoris?
sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, again, I have to go through this, so apologize for the names again. Again, it's Heather Michelle Davis and Michelle and Paul Carr. Properties at 112 and 110 North Shore Road, which is located in the low-density residential district. The purpose is for a two-lot subdivision. Two new single-family lots are being created. All town departments have reviewed and signed the plan, including Conservation Commission. There is a waiver request for the driveway access through the second lot, and the survey can explain that in more detail. No state permits are required when a lot is 5 acres or larger. That does not require New Hampshire DES approval. One lot is 18 acres, the other lot is 5.8 acres. Staff would recommend approval of both the waiver request and the application. And we'll turn it over to Craig Francisco, who's the surveyor representing the owners.
Good evening. I'm Craig Francisco, Bedford Design. Pretty straightforward two-lot subdivision. The only thing that's not straightforward is the access easement, because the frontage along that one road is almost all beaver pond. So to get across, we're not gonna be able to get a permit to cross the beaver pond, obviously. So we're asking for a waiver to do two lots with a shared driveway to go around the beaver pond, in a sense. That's the gist of it.
Okay. Are we ready for jurisdiction?
I move that we accept jurisdiction.
Sorry, it's on here, yeah.
We have a motion by Myers, second by Grenice to accept jurisdiction. All, will poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So we have accepted jurisdiction. We now need to determine regional impact.
I make a motion pursuant to RSA 36:56, the board finds proposal as presented at this time meets the definition of a development of regional impact.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. I will poll the board. Mr. Chase?
No, this is a small lot line adjustment and subdivision and it has no regional impact.
Mr. Fishman?
No regional impact.
Mr. Healy?
No, for the same reasons as Mr. Chase.
Mr. Grenice?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. Malaby?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. Feinauer?
No regional impact.
Mr. Myers?
I agree with Mr. Chase, no impact.
Yes. Mr. O'Connor?
No regional impact.
And the chair concurs, no regional impact.
I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Mr. Chase? Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is open. Anyone who has questions, comments regarding this plan, please come forward. We'll give you an opportunity to speak. We will also poll the remote audience, see if there's anyone remotely who wishes to address this plan. So is there anyone in the room at current who would like to speak on this plan?
Seeing none, rise online,
Hey, Mr. Chair, seeing no one run up to the forefront, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by public hearing. I'll poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Chase?
Ye-
I'm sorry, Mr.
Myers.
Myers.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So on the matter of waivers, Mr. Chase?
I have a question for the engineer on the waiver. Was it looked at that you could have the driveways beside each other instead of sharing the same? What was the detriment to that?
we did try that. Mostly, it's only gonna be shared for like 150 feet. The plan is the driveway's gonna go in and hook to the right to the house, and then the other one's gonna keep on going to the back lot. I mean, I just didn't see the sense in having two curb cuts. Wouldn't think that'd be advantageous.
Mr. LaRue, so
I would add that the site distance portion of the driveway was difficult to locate and address throughout the process. And there's, if you look at the profile, there's some work on the slope looking to the right if you exit the driveway that's proposed. That needs to be removed. And then looking the other way was difficult because it was a stone wall that protrudes over the property bound and is obstructive to getting sight distance on that side as well.
okay. Okay, that's it.
Any further questions on the issue of waivers? Okay,
All right, so Mr. Chairman, if there's no other questions, concerns, I move to grant the following waivers. LDCR Section 17025-170-25-25A5 lots. Each driveway shall have access through its own frontage. After review of the waiver request, the board finds the strict conformity to the regulations would pose unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second.
moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. We'll poll the board. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. I will note that architectural design regulations are not applicable. What?
No, I was going to say, no, there's no architectural regulations, and if you want, I'll read the finding of facts.
Yep, go ahead.
All right, so I move to find the proposed plan does not alter the existing conditions which would affect access to the lots, ensuring the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood remains unchanged as a result of the subdivision plan. The proposed development would allow for providing additional housing opportunities in the community as a high demand for housing in both Derry and the state of New Hampshire continues.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers to make findings of fact. I'll poll the board. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
All right, so Mr. Chairman, if there's no other comments from the board or from Public Works, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Looks like it's kind of clean cut. So I move to approve pursuant to RSA 676:4I, completed application with the following conditions. Subject to the owner's signature, subject to the on-site inspection by the town engineer, establish appropriate escrow as required to complete the project, establish escrow for settings of the bounds or certify the bounds have been set, note approved waivers on the plan, driveway cross easement be deeded, recorded at the Rockingham County Registry of Deeds, subject to the appropriate recording fees payable to the Rockingham County Registry of Deeds. This includes the $25 L-chip fee, recording fees for the Mylar and notice of decision. Obtain written approval from the planning director or designee that the GIS disk is received and is operable and complies with LDCR Section 170-24-14C. Conditions precedent shall be met within 6 months.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. Any discussion? Not, I'll poll the board. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Yep,
Thank you.
You're all dead. You're set. Thank you. Okay, next, public hearing is for Thomas D. Saad, parcel ID 06035, 182 Island Pond Road is a two-lot subdivision.
Okay, thanks again, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, again, the applicant's Thomas Saad. The parcel is located at 182 Island Pond Road. The purpose of the plan is for a two-lot subdivision located in the low-density residential district. There is an existing home on the property, so one new single-family house lot is being created. All town departments have reviewed and signed the plan. There are no waiver requests. They've applied for their state subdivision approval. We have a copy of the application in the file. The approval from the state is pending, and they've obtained their New Hampshire DOT driveway permit. Island Pond Road is a state road. We have a copy of that approval in our file. Staff would recommend approval of the subdivision application, and I'll turn it over to the surveyor engineer, Dan Karovis. And the owner, Thomas Sod's in the audience, too.
Good evening, I'm Dan Corvus with DK Engineering. I'm the engineer on the project. As it was pointed out, the project is a two-lot subdivision. The first lot up front, as shown on the plans that you have, is a 1 acre lot. They have received a variance for the 1 acre lot and the frontage. I believe that was on August 17th. So that's, oh, and one other thing is on the driveway. The driveway that we have shown is a common driveway for about 50 feet, I believe, 30 or 50 feet. And the reason it's a common driveway is because the original lot was subdivided in 1993, and they were only allowed 3 driveways. We submitted to DOT to have 2 driveways put in, and they denied it. They came back and said you could go with a common driveway to get the access to the rear lot, which we redesigned the plan and resubmitted it, and they approved it. Also, on the DES subdivision approval, the state subdivision approval, we did receive the approval. We have the number. I've put it on the plan. So when the Mylars come in, it'll have that number on it, and the CAD file also. The rear lot, I mentioned that the front lot the front lot has an existing house on it and septic system, and it's all developed. The lot in the back will be a 6.1 acre lot. Nothing else can be done in the back. There's no other subdivision that could possibly be done because you wouldn't be able to get access to it, and it'd require even more variances. Let's see. The soils on the site are good. They're good soils. It's a B soils. It's a Chatfield, Hollis, Canton outcrop. It's hydraulic soils group B, which is second in terms of infiltration. It's more like a sandy, a loamy sand, or it's decent for infiltration. The testing that was done around the proposed house, the groundwater was down. They didn't find any within 8 feet of the surface. So the groundwater was down back there, and the soils are good for leaching. Now, the reason I brought up the soils, I ran the drainage calculations. The drainage, the majority of the back of the property is wooded. There's several wetland areas throughout the back. But the runoff flows down to Ballard Pond, and it's quite a distance. So the time of concentration, both because of the ground cover, the slope, and the soils, is quite large. That reduces any minor impact, such as what's proposed to the front of the lot. Running the calculations, even for a 50-year storm, there was no increase in the peak rate of runoff. Again, that's probably because of the time of concentration, but there was a few hundredths of an acre foot of volume that was increasing. So what I did is I put some down drains and rooftop infiltration around the building, which mitigated the volume, the increase in volume. So the drainage, there'd be no impact on the drainage. Yeah, the common drive, it was kind of difficult to get through DOT from a timing standpoint and from the path that we ended up taking with the common driveway. Also, the site distance out there. The site distance that's required by the town, I believe it's 200 feet. DOT requires 400 feet. What we did is we went out and topoed the road, and we showed DOT that you can't, there isn't 400 feet now. What we're doing is moving the driveway like 40 feet further down the hill, which provides even more site distance than there is now. In addition to that, we're cutting down a couple large trees that block everyone's site distance. So those are coming down there. And the DOT looked at it, the district engineer looked at it and said, this is an improvement to what is there now, and we have no problem with it. And they didn't issue a new driveway permit, they amended the previous one from 1993, and they reactivated it. So I think that's about it, unless you have any questions.
Okay, well, thank you. On the matter of jurisdiction,
All right, Mr. Chairman, I move to accept jurisdiction of the two-lot subdivision plan for Thomas Sad. If I pronounce that wrong, I apologize. PID 06035-182 Island Pond Road.
Second.
moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. I will hold the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move pursuant to RSA 36:56, the board finds the proposal as presented at this time meets the definition of a development of regional impact.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. I will poll the board. Mr. Chase?
No. This is a small two-lot subdivision well within the boundaries of the town and does not meet the definition of a regional impact.
Mr. Fishman?
Concur, no regional impact.
Mr. Healy?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. Grenice?
No for the same reasons.
Mr. Malaby?
No, for the same reasons.
Mr. Feinauer?
No regional impact.
Mr. Myers?
I always agree with Mr. Chase, so no.
Mr. O'Connor?
No regional impact.
And the chair agrees, no regional impact.
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. I will poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. If there's anyone either in the room or online who wishes to ask questions or make comments regarding this plan, the public hearing is open. If you're in the room, please come forward to speak. If you're online, please electronically raise your hand.
Seeing none, rise online, Mr. Chair.
And, Mr. Chairman, see no one running to the forefront, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. Hold the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
And Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So I do have one question for Mr. LaRue. I assume, based on the DOT's involvement, that this is a county road?
I don't know if I'd call it a county road. It's kind of a hybrid state road where I believe that we do winter maintenance, but they take care of the actual repairs, repaving that was done recently, things of that nature. So it's kind of a mixed arrangement between town, state.
Yeah, so as I recall, roads like this that aren't numbered state highways,
Yeah,
were originally county roads, eventually the county gave it to the state, so that's how they
right,
end up with it.
right.
Yep, cool, thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Chase?
So, as with the previous case, it says.
Mr. Chase, move your microphone down a bit. Thank you,
It
sir.
says, no waivers requested, but if they're applying for a shared driveway, there has to be a waiver for that. We cannot approve this plan without a waiver for a shared driveway.
I was gonna bring that up.
So can you clarify as to, is there indeed a shared driveway here?
It's shared for about 30 to 50 feet coming into the site. What the DOT wanted is the existing driveway would be removed, and we just continue with the new driveway and just bring it in so they can get into the existing lot.
So, good point. I think, given that the DOT controls driveway permits here, we can't change that, but given we do have a town regulation, it would be good to have a waiver for the record, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. The drink here, the water. This is only water. We can just give you the section, Dan, and if, like we did last time, if he just wants to handwrite it for us, and then we'll have it in the record for the vote. So let me find that section, and then you guys can do the other stuff if you want.
Great.
Sure, so it'd be the same one as the other one, right?
Yeah.
170, 25A5,
Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
Thank you.
right?
I just have a question.
Ms. LaRue? Same thing, all right,
Mr. Meyer?
same exact,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, finish.
It would be the same exact waiver.
okay.
Thank you. Mr. Myers?
Oh, thank you. I just have a question. You went to the zoning board August 17th of 2023?
Yeah.
Okay,
well,
I'm just-
August 17th is when they issued the variance.
Right, okay, I guess it's not our issue, but I'm just more curious. You got two waivers, one for frontage and one for lot size, right?
Right.
Because 3 acres is the requirement. Again, I'm just curious, I don't know if it has anything to do with what we're doing here, but I'm just curious, how come you have 7 acres and 6 acres is designated to the back lot you've referred to, and only 1 acre to the front lot? Why wasn't it more equitable?
Because in order to do it, the lot lines would be really squirrely, because there's some wetlands out there in order to get around, to get the driveway in the back. Right now, it's all cleared in the back where the house is gonna go, and it was perfectly set up for that. And the existing lot, there's nothing you can do way back, and you really can't even get to it from the front. I mean, you could get to it, but you'd do a lot of clearing, you'd have to do a lot of, creating some kind of path for a car to get down there. It seemed more environmentally friendly to keep it up front where it is, and it's a minimal impact to the lot itself.
Okay, I get it. The only other question I had is, and I was listening, so please forgive me if you already went over this, but was it your preference to have the 2 separate driveways and the state just said no?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
We submitted an application for 2 driveways, and the DOT denied it. And they denied it because of good reason. Once it was explained to me, that the parent lot can only have 3 driveways. And the parent lot in '93 was split into 3 lots.
Right.
And they all got a driveway, so there are no more available for that lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions, comments?
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna make a motion to grant the waiver, and we just have to get that handwritten for the record, too. So I move to grant waiver to LDCR Section 170-25-25A5 lots. Each driveway shall have access through its own frontage. After review of the waiver request, the board finds strict conformity to the regulations would pose unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulations.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. Any discussion? Not, I will poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, there's no design regulations, it's not applicable, can't even, never say that word. So I'm gonna read the finding of facts. Move to find the proposed plan does not alter, move to find the proposed plan does not alter the existing conditions which would affect access to the lots, ensuring the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood remains unchanged as a result of the subdivision plan. The proposed development would allow for providing additional housing opportunities in the community as a high demand for housing in both Derry and the state of New Hampshire continues.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. Any discussion? None, I'll poll the board. Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
All right, so Mr. Chairman, if there's no other comments, concerns, and no issues from Public Works, move on. I move to approve pursuant to RSA 676:4I, complete application with the following conditions: subject to the owner's signature, subject to the on-site inspection by the town engineer, establish appropriate escrow for the, as required to complete the project, establish escrow for the settings of the bounds, or certify the bounds have been set, subject to receipt of applicable state and local permits related to the project, state subdivision approval from NHDES, subject to the appropriate recording fees payable to the Rockingham County Registry of Deeds. This includes a $25 L-chip fee, recording fees for the Mylar, and notice of decision. Driveway cross easement be recorded, the Rockingham County of Deeds, the approval of the waiver that was approved, and obtain written approval from the planning director, designate that the GIS disc is received and is optical and complies with LDCR section 1702414C. Conditions precedent shall be met within 6 months.
Second.
So that was, note the approved waivers on the plan?
Yes,
Yes, thank you. Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. Any
I had to say that.
discussion? Mr. Chase?
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Great, thank you very much.
I've scribbled something down for the waiver. Is it okay if I bring it to the office in the morning and type it up and send it in?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Okay,
Good.
great, thank you.
thank you very much.
Okay, and the last item of public hearing on our agenda is Stephen J. and John E., I will mangle this name, Peace, Craig J. and Snow Bono, parcel ID 26170 and 26169, 21 and 23 Central Street for a lot line adjustment.
Just for the record again, Mr. Chairman, excuse me. The applicant is Stephen and John Payak, Craig and Snowbono. The property is located at 21 and 23 Central Street. Again, the purpose of the application is for a lot line adjustment between the two above referenced properties. The properties are located in the downtown central business district. Town department signatures are not required for a lot line change. There is a waiver request for high-intensity soil mapping. When lots are on town water and sewer, it's not necessary to have HIS mapping for the soils. I will go downstairs and get the letter in the file. The section is correct. We just don't have the hard copy attached to the staff report. There are no staff reports. Staff would recommend approval of both the waiver request and the lot line adjustment plan. And I'll turn it over to Shane Gendron, who's the surveyor representing the owner.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Shane Gendron. I'm employed with Herbert Associates, and I represent Craig Bono and Stephen and John Peck. Just a little bit about this real straightforward lot line revision. What we're trying to do is clean up a lot line between two existing lots. Mr. Bono owns the property at 23 Central Street. That home currently is a burned out home. He's looking to probably develop that property in the future. But this is kind of the first step. We want to clean up that lot line and then kind of go to work on what we could possibly do with the property. That property, 23 Central, is a 1.1 acre lot, and the Peck's property at 21 Central Street is 0.47 acres. And what we did is we basically did an equal swap here. So we're not changing any lot size, we're just straightening out that lot line between the two. So if you look at the plan, the existing lot line comes down about 111 feet, and then it jogs in behind number 23. We're getting rid of that jog. We're basically just straightening that line out, and it's an equal swap. There is a waiver. I have a copy of the waiver right here with me if you folks need it. Again, it's only for the high-intensity soils, and these lots are both on sewer and water.
All right. Thank you. On the matter of jurisdiction,
Mr. Chairman, I move to accept jurisdiction of the lot line adjustment for plan before the board for Stephen and John Peck and Craig and Snow Bonneau, parcel ID 26170 and 26169, 21 and 23 Central Street.
Second.
moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. I will poll the board. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, there is no determination of regional impact because it's not required for a lot line adjustment, so that will be not read tonight. So I'm going to move right on to make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr.
Yes.
Myers. Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Public hearing is open. If anyone in the room or online wishes to speak, questions or comments on this plan, please either physically come forward or raise your hand online.
Seeing none rise, Mr. Chair.
And seeing no one here, running up to the podium, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved by Grenice, seconded by Myers to close the public hearing. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. I actually do have one question on the notes and nomenclature on the plan. I see there is a dotted line that says existing lot line, and then a solid line that says new lot line. I'm wondering, for additional clarity at the registry, could you change it, existing lot line to be extinguished?
We can absolutely do that. Sure.
I think that would help. Thank
Sure.
you. Any other questions or comments?
This is really pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Simple.
Okay, next motion.
All right, so if there's no issues, I'm going to make a motion to grant the waiver LDCR Section 17024A 12 high-intensity soil map, and after review of the waiver request, the board finds that strict conformity to the regulations would pose unnecessary hardship to the applicant, and the waiver would not be contrary to the spirit and intent of the regulation.
Second.
Moved by Greenie, seconded by Myers. I will poll the board. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
All right, so I move to find the proposed plan does not alter the existing conditions which would affect access to the lots, ensuring the health and safety and welfare of the neighborhood remains unchanged as a result of the adjustment of the lot line.
Second.
Moved by Greenie, seconded by Myers. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman.
Yes.
Mr. Healy.
Yes.
Mr. Grenice.
Yes.
Mr. Malaby.
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes.
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, if there's no questions and no issues from Public Works, I'll keep on going.
Just add a condition about making the note change I indicated on the plan, adding that it is an existing lot line to be extinguished.
All right, so, Mr. Chairman, I move pursuant to RSA 676:4, numerical order number 3, expedited review with the following conditions. Subject to the owner's signature, subject to the on-site inspection of town engineer, establish escrow for settings in the bounds and certify the bounds have not been set. Note the change of the existing lot line to be extinguished on the plan. Note approved waivers on the plan. Obtain written approval for the plan director designee that the GIS disk is received and operable and complies with LDCR Section 17024-14C. Conditions precedent shall be met within 6 months. Submission of the appropriate recording fees payable to the Rockingham County Registry of Deeds. This includes a $24 L-chip fee, recording fees for the Mylar, and the notice of decision.
Second.
Moved by Greenie, seconded by Myers. Any discussion? None, will poll the board. Mr. Chase.
Yes.
Mr. Fishman?
Yes.
Mr. Healy?
Yes.
Mr. Grenice?
Yes.
Mr. Malaby?
Yes.
Mr. Feinauer?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Mr. O'Connor?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we now come to the part of the meeting where we have board member comments. Does anyone have comments to offer?
Mr. Chairman? Yes. I just want to make a comment. Remind everybody, if the term's up, please put in for the boards. There's all kinds of open boards in the town. Also, Tuesday's election day. It's supposed to be nice. Like was stated last night, the council meeting, please get out and vote where the weather's going to be nice. Every vote counts.
Thank you. Any other comments? If not, I'll fish for a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 We stand adjourned.